Assalamualaikum. I am Umar, a health wala student of Rehan College, and today my learning journey 2022 conversation how to deal with the criticism and use it to improve. So let's begin a screen share with ChatGPT. Hi ChatGPT, welcome to day 22. Today I want to talk about criticism. Why does criticism hurt us so much?
Hey, Umar, great topic. Sting because it often triggers our insecurities or makes us feel judged. It can also feel personal, even when it's not intended that way. Plus, our brains are wired to focus on negative feedback more than positive, so it tends to stick with us. Let me know if you want to dive into how to handle it better.
ChatGPT, why do people criticize at all?
That's a great question. People criticize for a bunch of reasons. Sometimes it's meant to help, like giving constructive feedback to improve something. Other times it can stem from personal frustration, insecurity, or even a lack of awareness. Sometimes people criticize because or control or just venting. It's definitely complex.
Okay, how can
Absolutely.
I quickly tell the difference between constructive criticism and hate?
Great question. Generally, constructive criticism is specific, actionable, and aimed at helping you improve. Usually focuses on behavior or outcomes rather than personal attacks. On the other hand, hurtful criticism tends to be vague, negative, and can feel personal or attacking. It often lacks solutions and might leave you feeling discouraged. It's all about the intent and the tone behind the feedback.
Okay, grateful.
Exactly.
Why do I feel angry or defensive when someone points out of my mistake?
That's totally natural. When someone points out a mistake, it can feel like a blow to our competence or our self-esteem. Our brain tends to go into our mode, making us defensive or even angry. It's also tied to our desire to be seen in a positive light. With practice, though, we can learn to embrace feedback more calmly and see it as an opportunity to grow.
Okay, please explain me this with example.
Of course, for example, let's say you give a presentation at work and a colleague points out that your slides were a bit cluttered. Initially, you might feel defensive because you want to come across as competent. But if you look at it as constructive feedback, you could see it as an opportunity to improve your next presentation, maybe by simplifying your slides. Over time, that mindset shift helps reduce that defensive reaction.
Okay,
Absolutely. It definitely takes practice, but over time it gets easier to handle feedback in a positive way. If you ever want more examples or strategies, I'm here to help.
what's the best first response when someone criticizes me?
The great first response is to stay calm and open-minded. You can start by simply listening carefully and acknowledging the feedback, maybe with something like "Thank you for sharing that," or "I appreciate your input." Then take a moment to reflect before responding. That way, you keep the conversation constructive and productive.
How do I stop talking criticism personally?
One effective way is to try to separate yourself from the feedback. That criticism is often about the work or the behavior, not your worth as a person. It also helps to focus on the content of the feedback rather than how it's delivered. And you can always take time to process it before reacting. Over time, this really helps build resilience and keep your confidence intact.
Okay. Why do some people criticize more than others?
Yeah, that can happen for various reasons. Sometimes it's just their personality or communication style. They might be more critical by nature. Other times it can come from their own insecurities or stress and they project that onto others. It can also be a way of seeking control or asserting dominance in certain situations. It definitely varies from person to person.
Okay. How can criticism actually make me better?
Well, the key is to approach it with a growth mindset. Try to see criticism as an opportunity to learn and improve. Focus on the specific points that are constructive and think about how you can apply them. Time, this helps you grow your skills, build resilience, and ultimately become better at what you do. Plus, it can also help you build, stronger relationships and better communication skills.
What are some examples of a helpful criticism?
Absolutely. For instance, if you're working on a project and someone says, I think your report will be clear if you use more concise language and add some visuals to illustrate your points. That's constructive. It's specific, actionable, and aimed at helping you improve. Another example could be, I noticed that, your code has some redundant sections. Optimizing them can improve performance. Again, it's specific and gives you a clear direction.
Yeah.
You're welcome. If you have any other questions or need more examples, just let me know. I'm always here to help.
If someone criticizes me publicly, how should I handle it?
That can definitely be challenging. A good approach is to stay calm and composed in the moment. You can acknowledge the feedback politely, maybe say something like, thank you for your input. I'll consider that. And then if needed, you can follow up privately to discuss it further. Keeping your cool and responding with professionalism helps maintain your dignity and can actually turn the situation into a positive one.
Okay. How can I use criticism to improve instead of feeling bad?
A great way is to shift your perspective and treat criticism as a learning opportunity. You can break it down into actionable steps, focus on the specific points that can help you grow, and even ask for clarification if needed. Over time, this approach helps build your skills, boost your confidence, and makes you more resilient. And remember, the more you practice this mindset, the easier it becomes.
Yeah. What kind of mindset helpful helps me accept criticism better?
A growth mindset really helps a lot. That means viewing challenges and feedback as opportunities to learn and grow rather than threats to your ability. It also helps to practice self compassion. So you're kind to yourself when you make mistakes. Over time, this mindset makes it easier to embrace criticism, see it as a tool for improvement, and ultimately become more resilient and successful.
Okay. What if the criticism is wrong or unfair?
That definitely happens sometimes. If criticism feels unfair or wrong, it's still helpful to take a moment to reflect before reacting. Sometimes, even if the feedback isn't entirely accurate, it can still give you insight into how others perceive you or your work. And if it's truly unjust, you can calmly address it and clarify your perspective. The important part is and maintaining your composure.
Lastly, how can I become emotionally strong so criticism does not break me?
Building emotional strength takes time and practice. A few helpful strategies include developing self awareness so you understand your emotional triggers or reactions. Practicing mindfulness or meditation can also help you stay calm and centered. Building a support network of friends, mentors, or colleagues who encourage you is also really valuable. And finally, focusing on personal growth and celebrating small achievements helps reinforce your confidence. Over time, these habits will make you more resilient to criticism.
So much ChatGPT for helpful, grateful, and
You're very
valuable
welcome.
information.
Anytime. I'm always here to help. If you have more questions or just in the chat, feel free to reach out.
No, thank you. Goodbye.
You're welcome. Take care and have a great one. Goodbye.
Thank you everyone watching for this conversation. I hope helpful this conversation and very valuable conversation. So keep growing, keep learning, and see you tomorrow. And see you for next session. Goodbye. Allah Hafiz.